Huh?
Put it on repeat.
Repeat. Mm-hmm. Hey y'all, hope you guys are doing good. Sorry it's late. Late nights, early days.
Better late than never.
Better late than cancel.
That's what I said. Better late than never.
Shoot.
Never.
Okay. What do we have for the news today? Okay.
Like a rally of the troops.
114 people. Okay. Okay, a lot of dead air here. We is live. We live. Hey, what's up? What's up? Turning in from Toronto. Hey, Lori. Hey, Tosh. Hey, Sammy. Hey, Aiden. Jose, Lori, Frank, Gil, Paul, Wanda, Lori, Eduardo, Anthony. Hey, y'all. Delta of Light. Good to see you. Some good news out there. What's going on, y'all? Gilbert. Hey, how you doing? Hope. What's going on, Hope? I'm here. A little late. Gang, gang. You want to introduce yourself? We'll get to this.
Alrighty. I am April Beebe.
And I am Mr. Brando! And that's Daisy. And welcome to the status of the Iraqi Dinar. Daisy. IQD chat. Go away. No one wants to. You want camper time.
She been missing me.
Well, she didn't want to bark when I left this morning, so that's on her. Okay. So there's a couple of things that people have to understand about what's happening in Iraq. They closed that council, that Inspector General's Council. What people don't understand about the Inspector General's Council was the goon squad for the GOI. They held all the dirt and everything against the GOI members, all the affidavits and infrastructure that was going on, and they were hiding it and holding it. And so that's why the demonstrators wanted the files of corruption brought to justice. That's why you didn't see it. They were holding it, and they finally voted to get rid of the Inspector General's consulate, right? So that their ministry's gone. So now they're saying these big names are about to come forward in the next few days. There are going to be some big-time arrests. Now, the important thing to note about that is if there's no more goon squad for these people, for them to look out for them, who's going to protect these people? The next thing that you're going to see is that they're starting to talk about bringing those that are guilty to justice. I still blame the Iran militias for those shooting of the civilians, those poor 150 Iraqis that died. I don't think that was the federal government or the GOI, the police or the federal police of GOI. I truly believe in my heart of hearts that was the Iranian militia groups that were in those police factions of Iraq, and they killed those people in cold blood. They were the instigators. And when they talk about bringing people to justice, you want my speculation? My personal speculation is those are the people that you're going to see brought to justice, and those are the people that are going to be tried on war crimes in Iraq for that, because that was a black eye in Iraq, right? And all these people that are telling you that Iraq is not Article 8 or in Article 8, they've been Article 7 compliant since 2018. I showed you that last show. So when people tell you something, you got to say, well, show me how it isn't, and I'll show you how it is, right? And I can show you how it is because I read it to you last show. Now, a little backstory with that. So now, I labeled this day 10. So this is the 10th day. This is the day everybody's been waiting on. What the heck happened with the demonstrators? Where are the demonstrators? What happened? The demonstrators got together. Now, here's the cool thing about the demonstrators. They don't have a leader. They have a council. They have a group of people. That group of people has put forth a level of demands to the Iraqi central government, and those demands obviously have heard. They were taken into such heat that Mahdi asked for an extension to those groups to get some of those things done. That's why he immediately came out with Reform Package 1 and Reform Package 2, got permission from the demonstrators. Then he got a little bit of time. He bought himself a little bit of time, right? That's why you saw emergency funds being distributed. That's why you saw the social service packages being extended. That's why you saw land grants and housing being extended, because he had to give them something to show good faith. Now the demonstrators backed off. They said, you have till October, basically 25th, or we're going to basically burn this mother trucker down to the floor. We're going to come back twice as heavy, twice as hard. They're going to demonstrate. The funny thing about the protesters is, do you know like 80% of the protesters were all young men? Very few women protested because I guess they just didn't. And very few old people. The older people in Iraq really criticized the younger people. And they're getting on them about, why are you protesting? Nothing's going to change. But you saw what happened when all those young people got together in Iraq. They put forth a huge effort. And they actually got something done. Now, to show you the level of dedication and the reason why the PM and all these other groups are taking this as a serious threat, the reason why, because these people died. They were willing to lay down their lives and went out night after night after night. People getting killed and injured. Over 6,000 injuries in this. So you ask me the severity and what's the level that the GOI is holding these demonstrators at? It is massive. Okay? So don't take this to be like, oh, they're demonstrating and then they stop. No. This is highly coordinated, highly, what do I want to say? Highly, they're playing chess with each other right now. And right now, I'm going to say Kirkuk is one up on Baghdad, and the demonstrators are definitely one up or two up on Baghdad. They're holding the bag. They know what's going on, and they are going to get things accomplished. Now, with them setting the time limit to October 25th, what's today's date? The 14th?
Yes.
So that leaves 11 days, or they said they were going right back to the streets. That leaves I told you guys the 10th was an interesting time frame. Mahdi. Somebody corrected me. Mahdi. Anyway, PM, I won't even say his name anymore. PM bought himself more time, got an extension of 11 days, and they truly want to see things happening. Now, in Baghdad, the member of Council of Representatives in Baja on Wednesday, the Council of Intentions to take reform measures at the highest level. In a statement received by the magazine, Mawazin, copy that the House of Representatives will not retreat by taking reform measures on the demands of the demonstrator, which is the natural right of the people and in action. The House of Representatives will play a major role by pressuring the government as the executive body to achieve the largest part of these demands, right of the people, and we will work to legislate the important laws and deactivate them by the grim quota that destroyed the country. You got to understand, the people are pissed. When the people finally get fed up, it's kind of like I said about any country. You have broad swings in voting. That's why you see someone like Obama get elected, and then very next to you see someone like Trump get elected. Mm-hmm. Because the people are tired, and they're looking for some type of balance. So they'll go from one extreme to the next, searching for that equilibrium. Do you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's what they're looking for. They're looking for reforms. They're looking specifically for not just basic social services, but they're looking for jobs. They're looking for housing. They're looking for money, meaning that they need a stipend to get themselves on their feet so they can get a job. And then they're also looking for their share and their wealth in their country, because they know they're not just sitting on a ton of oil, they're also sitting on a bunch of precious metals and golds. People don't talk about the golds and precious metals all that much, but they're sitting on a ton of it. Okay? Now, there was this article that came out, and I'm going to speculate on this article. Everybody else is speculating on it, but I'm going to give you my twist on it. Okay. Balance News confirmed that the Finance Committee deputy member of the Private Al-Dami said on Saturday that the next fiscal year will see the launch of a large number of grades resulting from the deletion and development operation of the degrees after passing the 2020 budget by the House of Representatives. Al-Duwami told Mauzan News that 2020 budget will allow the government sector in a variety of specializations. She added, the Finance Committee will launch degrees of deletions and developments in the next few days at the provincial level to compensate with the greater number of graduates and the unemployed. Well, we already know that because they're getting that through the demands of the demonstrators, right? Now, here's an interesting thing. Do you know there's no written in their constitution about what they're giving the Kurds? And that's part of the holdup of why the Kurds aren't getting. Their 17% is written in. That 17% is actually over budgeted to them, and that's why they're having a hard time passing the budget, right? So not only do they have to pay the people now, they're going to have to pay the Kurds. That puts a real financial strain, and a lot of people aren't talking about that. That 17% put them $70 billion in the hole. Now, if they pay the citizens, and I'm going to read what the citizens want, if they pay each citizen what they need, that calls for a pressure. Pressure will bust a pipe, especially financially. They're going to run out of money. You see what I'm saying? And at what expense? Something's going to have to give. I really think that the people are going to pressure them into making the economic reforms needed. Now, it may not happen in a day, but if they put a policy in place and say by this date, and I'll show you where they say they're going to make them say it by a date. They're not just going to say we're going to do it. They're going to make them put it to a date. Okay? Now, the shares of the Kurdish region in the budget has not been approved. See, I told you that. And there's no legal article for sale. I told you that too. Pointing out that many political problems outstanding between Baghdad and Erbil, including the delivery of oil to the central government without this. Now, Iraq government for $48 billion for the budget for the past 5 years and $7 trillion for the budget of 14 years for the Peshmerga forces. The problem with that theory is with the Kurds is the United States government paid for the Peshmergas. Nobody else did. They were on our payroll. So we don't owe, or Baghdad doesn't owe them that money. Do you see what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know that. The United States wrote them into our budget, our tax dollars with the Peshmergas. And the reason why they did that, because Iraq couldn't defend themselves against ISIS by themselves. They just couldn't do it. They needed our special forces, the United Coalition, and they needed the Peshmergas to get rid of ISIS, basically. Okay? So the Kurds are kind of, they think that they're holding the bag, but in the truest sense of it, they're in a good position, but they better watch their step. Because there's no constitutional liability on Baghdad's part to actually include them in the budget. So therefore, if I don't have to, it's a handshake and a wink. It's kind of like this government here. If our government says, hey, look, we're going to do away with Obamacare. Well, what if a Democrat gets elected and they do more Obamacare, but double it? You see what I'm saying? Or a Democrat comes in and says, you know what, I don't like Trump care. I'm going to undo Trump care and double Trump care. You see what I'm saying? So you got to understand, a democracy is just that. And because you have these broad strokes of voting, nothing's precise. Okay, so these people are very upset, and until their demands are met, you're going to see a widespread of what their demands are. And the Kurds are going to use that to their advantage. And that's why they're not letting up on that 17%. And they think they're holding on to that $7 trillion. They can kiss that goodbye. That ain't going to happen. And they're not going to get their piece of the pie until they pay up on the oil revenues. And the thing that they're not quoting is, if you owe them $10 billion or $7 trillion in back pay, then you owe them 250,000 barrels a day of oil for the past 14 years, Kirkuk. How are you going to come up with that type of barrels per oil or the cash flow to sustain it? They're not talking about that. That's why I don't take the Kirkuk all that seriously. Now, I thought this was a major thing today, you guys. Remember, I told you, not only trade, stocks, and securities, the stock exchange said on Monday that Tuesday's session will witness the launch of trading on shares on 4 banks. The board said in a statement by Al Akostis that commercial banks will launch trading on shares of the bank as of Tuesday and approved the final accounts for 2018 and decided to distribute dividends 3.8 of the bank's capital for the year himself. That means one bank is retroactively going to distribute dividends back. The statement added that Al Cortez Bank will launch trading on company shares as of tomorrow's session on Tuesday, approved the final accounts 2018. As for Erbil Bank, it decided to launch trading on its shares as of tomorrow's session on Tuesday, approved the final accounts for 2018, and decided to recycle profits to the accumulated surplus accounts and election of 7 original members and their reserves, according to the statement. Man, the stock exchange is taking off. Opening up the Arab market really gave it a boost. Soon you're going to see that their trading platform is going to be in different markets everywhere. And I told you this last time, according to the CBI website, part of their strategic plan of the CBI is to have an international market for Forex trading and money marketing, okay? A member of the House of Representatives of the Alliance, Peace Shamari, on Monday, that his coalition will have another position if the reforms are not implemented clearly and officially. The calm situation will continue as long as the government is moving in a clear direction to implement the legitimate demands of the people, especially at the time of the visit, and do not want to create any situation that disturbs them, the Alliance said statement. Do you guys see this? The new reforms will be sent to Parliament and the various blocs will reach consensus as long as they serve the people. Notice this, the reforms were just statements to calm the situation. We will have another position. So you get it? They gave them something to calm them down. Now they're calm again. They're waiting for a bigger reform package to get them over the hill. So they gave them a little money, right? But the Iraqis know that they're wealthier than that, okay? So this is what the coordinating committees from the demonstrators said, okay? Our demands are as follows. So if you want to take a piece of paper out and write these down, please do so. Reconsider some paragraphs of the Constitution and amend them for benefit of the nation and the people. Cancel the excessive rings, provincial councils, independent bodies, Shiite endowment, Sunni endowment, foundation prisoners, Salary Rafa, foundation martyrs, Hajj and Umrah. What they're basically saying there is cut all the bureaucratic red tape and just pay what we need to pay. Keep the dinar in the central bank for reserves and quit fluffing and giving away our money to bureaucracy. Reducing the number of members of the House of Representatives while reducing the salaries and privileges. So here's the thing. If you're going to have a democracy or a parliament, right, and you got all these members, and only 100 and something of them show up, why don't we just eliminate it to them 100 and something that show up, vote on those majorities, give those guys a salary, and hold them accountable for what they do, instead of this 300 and some odd people that are just sitting there collecting a paycheck, having big cushy offices, and stealing money from auctions and other things that make their families rich through nepotism and allowing the people to suffer. Okay? Mm-hmm. Activating the law and start with officials from the year 2003. Why 2003? Because that's when the invasion happened. That's when all the laws changed. And compare what he had before this date and what he has now. Now, if I'm speculating on that, I think they're directly talking about Nuri al-Maliki, if that's my opinion. Look at what the law, look at what he had before he started, and look at after what he started and what he owns now. You will see a huge difference. When you look at some of these government politicians that have been in this, they have stolen for years. Since 2003, it's 2019. That's 16 years of corruption and 16 years of just blatant theft, rape, and pillage of the Iraqi, not only country, but its natural resource, its sovereignty, its independence, its everything. And it's made itself a laughingstock as far as that in the community because no one would trust them. Financial control audits the account of financial parties and know the source of their money. That's the anti-money laundering law, right? So let's just say Mr. Brando is in Iraq. Mr. Brando has 200 trillion dinars. But Mr. Brando don't have no recollection where he got his 200 trillion dinar. He just be having it. Now they're saying to you, you're going to be held accountable for it, just like we do in our states. It's called a know your customer, right? Mm-hmm. If you have all this money in the bank, how do you have all this money in the bank? Mm-hmm. Even the young people want to see some type of transparency and clarity within the banking system. And they don't want a bunch of theft. They want to earn their money. This shows it, right? Equitable distribution of the country's wealth to the people and the adjustment of the salary scale of the employees so that there are no differences between ministries and other. Meaning that if you're a minister, you should make a nominal salary as a what? Civil servant you're giving, right? You should make a novel salary. Not some more than a school teacher there, not more than a professor, not more than a banker or something like that. You need to actually probably be paid less because you're doing less. And we can see that by their track record, right? But the equitable distribution of the country's wealth, what does that say? The HCL law. Plain and simply, the distribution of the country's wealth and then adjust everybody else's salary so that no person is greater than another. Abolishes the privileges of the three presidents. That is beautiful. If you took away their immunity and all their power, guess what would happen? They'd be just people and they'd be accountable just like any other person. Transfer from a parliamentary system to a Republican system. Exactly what I've been telling you guys. Parliamentary systems don't work. Okay? Okay, listen. In any job, do you have three presidents at most jobs? No. You got one CEO, everybody else falls underneath, and it's snap and move, snap and move, snap and move. That's the way the life works. That's the way life should work in government. One person tells everybody else, jump, everybody else, assholes and elbows. You get up in the air. That's the way life is. Support the national product and activate the rehabilitation of factories, and agriculture, and the provision of water shares in Iraq with the framework of international treaties and agreements. Again, they already told you they're going to activate like 3,000 or 7,000 factories, so that's part of the agreements. Dissolution of the religious party factions and the establishment of a reconstruction of a strong Iraqi army and building a national intelligence service is the pillar of the state. So what they're saying is, get rid of these crappy councils that we have out there, or excuse me, like these integrity crap boards that don't do anything. Let's put some people in place. Let's have a strong national sense, right? You get that whole national thing going on. The dissolution of religious parties. I keep telling you guys, man, about religion. I'm not saying anything bad about God, but I keep telling you guys, religion and politics don't mix very fairly, okay? And the people of Iraq see it. Building a strong national intelligence service, they should be policing themselves and make that the pillar of the state, right? Excuse me. Get rid of the law of question and justice put by Brenner and Ahmed Kabili and the abolition of Integrity Commission. The Integrity Commission should be revamped. We all know that. Rumalia gas exploitation to lose Iraq's daily 20 million must be invested and make fuel for power plants and prevent the import of Iranian gas. That tells you right there that the people of Iraq, when you tell me that they're in bed with Iran, they love Iran, bullshit, they don't like Iran. Matter of fact, I think they have a true disdain for Iran. First of all, the people that are working in Iraq are Iranian because they'll work for pennies on the dollar. Iraqis can't earn a fair wage in their own country, and so they're pissed off with the Iranians. It's not vice versa. They don't love Iran. Iran has circumvented the system and snuck in there. They want them out and they want Iraqis in, but they wanted a fair wage so they can enjoy the wealth of their country so solely deserves. It's very, very simple. Support the farmer seeds and fertilizers, agricultural mechanisms, and support the agricultural products so that Iraq's self-sufficient in agriculture, livestock, and fisheries. They should do that. I mean, that's just normal, self-sufficient for a country. Making Iraq as a former era of ownership, that's huge. Agricultural, country, tourism, industrial, oil, spare parts for young people. Enough said. Making it of its former era. That would be pre-war times. So if you're looking at some type of ownership, think of a nominal value to your currency so that way you can have ownership. Fixing all contract working in the state institutions such as ministerial, daily wages, regional development contracts, lecturers, and free employees on permanent owners. Allocation of monthly salaries to each Iraqi individual is of oil quota and not less than $500 per month. So there you have it. Remember I told you that if I saw the HCL and they gave them $1,000 USD or more, I was going to be very nervous. The citizens themselves had said they only want $500. So that means, in my belief system, that they could have a reinstatement, pay them reinstated currency, but they only want $500 USD. You give them $500 in dinar, then you have enough money to go around, especially now because the remnants are all digital. They're not going to go to Iraq, take their Iraqi dinar and go give me it all to me out of the bank. Now they're going to take more money and put it into the bank. That's going to create more inclusion, and that's what we're looking for. I know I'm going fast, y'all, but it's a late night. Reduce the interest of the government bank advances. Yeah, I mean, we know that too. Everybody hates the banks. Construction of housing complex to housing the poor and distribution of plots of land. They've talked about that. They're doing that. A preliminary agreement with oil companies in Basra to employ 500 of the employed. You see things happening. The Integrity Commission, the Inspector General. On Monday, obtained a document issued by the Commission of Integrity that included a directive to the Office of the Inspector Generals regarding they basically closed their offices today. The House Representatives voted in the meeting today to cancel the Office of the General Inspectors. I told you that was going to happen. The rights of national security and strategy. Iraq is currently in a critical, important, sensitive, detailed phase due to political, security, economic conditions, legitimate popular demands, pledges, decisions, solutions announced by the government, the Council of Representatives, and the presidency by agreement between the three presidencies. All decisions are waiting for the people to achieve them within a strategy and target and timelines for implementation. Get it? Targets and timelines. That's important. For implementation in order to reassure the public that the government is moving in accordance to the best interests of the country and the people and the needs of the address promptly and accurately to the problems, economic indicators, and elimination of corruption, especially as official indicators point to the high rates of unemployment to more than 30% of the workers capable of working and high rates of poverty cases of financial and administration corruption. Now, therefore, we must believe the basic economic principles of the national security strategy be as follows. Sovereignty and territorial integrity of Iraq. Building a sound, multi-resource national economy. The private sector plays a central role to lead the market. Now, the way I look at the private sector plays a role to lead the market is they have to get rid of the auctions. So that's basically what they're saying to you. The private sector is the dog. The auction is the tail. Right now, the tail is wagging the dog. They need the private sector being the dog to wag the tail. And that's what's going to happen, okay? Providing food, medicine, environmental security to citizens to ensure the dignified life of the individuals and the family in accordance with the articles of the Constitution. Remember I told you, I think it's Article 33, that every Iraqi had the right to wealth, housing, medicine, security, all those things. They say shall guarantee social justice for citizens. That means protection. Reform the development of good governance institutions and provide the best service to the citizens. Reform security and transparency as the economic data and indicators. Meaning that the people want to know when they make money, when they lose money, and how all that works. Oh, Paul Marion, thank you, sir. Yeah, good karma, man. This is really an awesome day for news. Are there more questions out there? I'm just buzzing through this so fast.
No, there was a debate about the 800 numbers and stuff. People were
Oh, God, get off the 800 numbers. Listen to me. I'll clear it up right now. There are no 800 numbers. If anybody tells you there's an 800 number, you tell them to show you the 800 number, and then I'll call the 800 number live on the air, and I'll show you the biggest crock of crap that in our community. The only thing bigger crock of crap than 800 number are distribution, or what do they call them, redemption centers. More crap, okay? It's absolute bullshit, okay? I'm just telling you right now. To me, revitalizing the private sector is an important step in solving the crisis. I keep telling everybody that the Forex market is going to be the thing that puts the infusion of cash. The private sector is going to be the thing that carries them through and keeps them successful. It's the only way. Okay?
I had to screenshot something really cute Margarita Marin shared with us. She said, Miss BB, my 6-year-old son's walking around saying gang gang. He said it at school. His teacher said, Jeremiah, we don't talk like that. My son said, it's because you're not part of the tube gang. I thought that was so cute.
Jeremiah, my man, gang gang all day. Now, it says activating the access mentioned in the government curriculum through the development of operational policies, development of productive economic sectors with the directive that achieve what is mentioned in these accesses that are derailed aspects and setting a time limit for implementation. That's the main thing, guys. It's these guys, now that you know that they have these demands, now their demands is we have to know a time frame. Do you see what I'm saying? The time frame is all important. Screw your promises. I need to know when you're going to fulfill your promises. And that's what's important. The government formed a Supreme Council for Economic Affairs, which consists of experts from the government and the private sector in order to carry out economic reform and the first step, including banking reform, and to strengthen the role of the central bank and the ministries concerned with economic affairs, finance, agriculture, industry, planning, oil, electricity, in effective and harmonious coordination with the two policies, financial and monetary. Remember, I told you there's two types of fiscal, financial, and monetary policy. Laws, and then the banks that have to work together and achieve the goal of diversification resources and non-dependence on oil in a state budget as a basic resource. I told you, you could use your banking system as a source of income through money marketing, through stocks, bonds, insurance, all that stuff. They've already passed all these major laws and passing all these major laws about depositors insurance and the Forex insurances and all these other things. Now that you've got all that stuff, now you have a source of income. It doesn't exceed oil yet, but it could. You see what I'm saying? And on top of that, if you opened up your private sector, China's willing to write $500 billion check. Now, I don't know what else these guys want. You know what I mean? Come on. Establishment of Reconstruction Council, the Private Service Council, the Private Sector Council.
Sammy D wants to know what's going to happen again tomorrow.
Tomorrow's the 15th.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a large play that Middle Eastern countries are buying a large quantity of IQD over in Europe.
Okay.
A lot of exotic currencies. Let me say it like that. A basket of currencies. The main one being the IQD.
Gotcha.
Developing executive procedures to activate and implement the strategies previously developed in cooperation with the competent international organization approved and announced for the development of the private sector, agriculture sector. Everything's private sector. Anytime I hear private sector, I know what they're saying. They're saying to you guys is, if we have a private sector, we have to have some type of monetary policy that has to have a real rate, because now we have to pay these people. And number two, we're going to run out of money. And number three, guess what? These international companies don't work with devalued currencies all that well. They like free capital flow in, they like free capital flow out. Plus, if worse comes to worse, they work in petrodollars, so it makes a simple conversion. I'm not saying that it needs to be that, but I'm saying that's what a simple conversion would be. Okay, so now that I've buzzed through the news real quick, do you guys have any questions? I won't take a bunch of calls. I'll go another 10 minutes if that, and we'll call it a night if you guys don't have any questions for me. So please, if you got a question, either call me real quick or ask.
Let me post your number. I don't know. I'm not getting sick.
Are you pulling into the driveway?
You're welcome, Sammy.
Let me post the number. Okay, the number's out there, you guys.
Earl is absolutely right. All these banks are lying to you. There are no banks back screens. I've shown you guys. The rate is live. If you call Huntington Bank, they will sell you dinar. There can't be a back screen if it's live. The rate is live. It's just not recognizable. It's considered exotic. So quit listening to Guru trash, man.
I just noticed that Mr. B has the wrong Oregon shirt on. Go Beavers.
Oh, trust me. I got an Oregon Beavers and Ducks. Go Pac-12 all day. I'm not wearing nothing wrong. The left side is the best side.
Can you comment on the concept paper written in 2005 about the restructuring of Iraq written by the U.S. government?
No. I'd have to see the paper. Hello?
There is an 800 number you can call.
What?
It's 8675-309. Sorry. You're like, give me a number, I'm gonna call it. I'm like, I got so only us old timers.
I know, right? Only someone our age would know that. That's why I'm giggling. I'm like, I'm not calling that.
Millennials, you're gonna fall off. You're gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna try to down that number. It's an old school song, and the people that owned that number back in the days hated everybody. Okay.
Oh my
All right,
God.
big guy. So yeah, there's a lot going on. We were talking earlier about that letter. Did you touch bases on that?
Oh, I didn't even share the letter. Do you want me to read it?
Yeah. I think it's important for people to read it, and let's just everybody in your chat just listen to what it says, and then let's share opinions on this because for everybody, there's a wide range of opinions. But I'm curious to see what other people think. By the way, smash that damn like button.
Okay, y'all. So everybody knows I bought a ton of currency from Exchange of America.
Go Yankees.
It says, Dear client, please expect price increases for the IQD as there is a supply shortage coming out of Iraq. Pardon me. We have a shipment of uncirculated 25K and 50K in transit. However, we have not seen things this difficult in years. Please call us with any further questions. Robert Huffman, President and Founder of Exchange America.
So now, me and you talked earlier. You said you've seen these before.
Yeah, I've seen it where they've hinted at there being price increases, and there weren't. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like, nah, okay.
So we talked about if we do see a price increase, I just want people to, I know it's out there. I'm like 99% sure of this, and I have to look it up and I'll post this. But okay, in order for exchange rates to function, they have to stay within a certain percentage of what the real rate is. So whenever they're saying, oh, don't mistake or increase in rate as it meaning there's going to be an increase in rate as far as the value of the dinar itself. No. There's something fishy about that. I mean, even if it is a slight increase, the point is, if they're increasing their fees for the dinar and they're saying it's scarce, this means something. This does not mean nothing.
I mean, you know what? It's kind of like when I read that article earlier that says that in the 2020 budget, you'll see deletions, all the special grades done. A lot of people think, are they speculating they're going to delete the 3 zeros? Are they speculating that they're going to have all the special grades done? They got to have the special grades done by October 24th. The visit of the 40th Imam, I think that's his name. I think that's who it is. The one that the peace be upon him is on the 24th. So like, my time frame is not, later than I'm not saying my time frame. My time frame's forever. But I'm saying that my critical time frame right now is like October 25th. It's like, whoa.
But don't you think there's other factors that it's probably harder for them? Basically, people are increasing their purchases of Iraqi dinar, so there's less in circulation. It's probably hard to get their hands on more Iraqi dinar, so they're driving up the price. No,
but that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Whenever the currency itself is scarce, it drives up the value.
Right.
There's where inflation and deflation comes from. You know what I mean?
Okay, guys, but here's
the supply and demand.
My question for that would be, okay, it's driving up a currency that we know the value is $11.90. So if you charge me $1,400 and the real value is only $1,190, I'm not paying that.
Yeah, not unless you there's something something there you see that would be the reason for that. You understand what I'm saying? Why would I want to pay more for any currency if it stays the same rate? What the hell's going on there? I'm not going to do that. That doesn't make no sense.
Right. I mean, my thing is, it's kind of like this. We're all speculating that they're saying there's going to be a price increase, but they're saying their price increases as parts per million. They're not speculating that the IQD could reinstate. You see what I'm saying? Now, if they said...
I think they throw that disclaimer out there to save their own butt. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That, and you don't want to start a speculation rush by changing your rate, and then all of a sudden, you end up it backfiring because everybody rushes to buy the currency with the assumption that the rate is going to change. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
even if it is or doesn't.
It's kind of like they're pumping it up, though. You know what I mean? Like, well, we can't hardly get it, so if you want it, hey, we're having a very difficult time getting it. It's almost like they were prodding me to buy more. I didn't fall for it. I'm not buying any more from them, especially. Not for any reason because they're bad, but I know now I'm going to go right to a currency exchange booth in a mall or an airport and go, here's my money, give me my dinar, I'm out of there. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. So, yeah, I don't know really what to think of that. The truth of the matter is I don't give it no one thought about it or another, other than the fact that I just think that's kind of fishy.
I agree with you. It's an odd letter. I mean, odd.
Well, and it's
timing being everything.
And it's not the first time they've done something like this. I remember a time where they were trying to get people to sell their IQD. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've seen these emails come through from them. I just think that this is, this particular exchange.
And Mark,
we noticed over the past like 6 or 7 months. I'm just going to pick on the one exchange, which is Exchange of America, right? We noticed that they have been out of stock on a good chunk of the IQDs and staying between the 10 and 25,000 K notes here and there. But for the most part, everything else has been out of stock. Now does that mean they can't get it? What does that mean? It's easy to speculate.
Let me give you another weird speculation of that, okay? So I have a friend that bought some notes from them, and all they had was like 10s, 5s, and 10s, 5s, and 1,000 notes, right? So they were like, hey, if this reinstates, will you take this currency back? They were like, well, we might, but we really probably won't. We only want the $25,000 notes.
That would be weird. Because being in exchange, they're technically they're a bank, is what they are. And so,
and you bought it from them.
And you bought it from them.
And they offer to buy it back, but you're probably going to take a hit if they do buy it. But for the most part, I wouldn't sell back to a damn exchange. I would just go to my bank.
But they're saying that it's questionable that they would take their own currency back.
But it wasn't the currency they take back; it's the denomination they take back. Do you get it? They're like us. If it was me buying an Iraqi Dinar right now, I would never buy a mixed bag. Knowing what I know about currency, I'd only buy big bills. I'd never. If I was a newbie, okay, and I know what I know, I'd be like, if I was buying an Iraqi Dinar, I'd only buy even amounts of parts per 25,000, 50, 75, 100, 125, a million, $1,500,000, $2 million, $5 million, only in the $100,000 or more.
What does this large purchase of dinar by European countries mean, if anything?
It means that people are buying dinar and paying a premium for it, and why are they doing it? That's what it means.
Now, see, I didn't get a chance to get on the call with Nathan last night because of this damn PG&E power outage bullshit over here. All right,
it doesn't matter because that was for Patreon only, so we're not talking about it.
Oh, okay, but what I was going to say was this. We talked about this in a group. If his customers are willing to pay 3 to 5 cents per dinar, when we know that's way up there. So in other words, they're paying, anywhere from 30 to 50,000 per. Is that right? Yeah, per million. Yeah. Okay. So if they know they're taking a hit up front, but he said they're expecting a 3 to 5 time return. That's not too shabby, for our investment. I know people are out there going, oh, I plan on being a millionaire. But even so, if you just take a step back from that, we all want the millions, okay? Me and Mr. B talked about this earlier about how, if you have the money to float, I say turn some in and hold on to the rest because I have a feeling that ours is going to go up more than when they initially come out with. But
let me stop you. I'm gonna give everybody a freebie. Okay, this is a freebie. If the Iraqi dinar reinstates for $1, the highest it will ever be is $1.20. Just telling you. That means it's still pegged to the dollar. If the Iraqi dinar it comes out higher than $1, it means that Pempe's theory is true, and they tied it to the Arab basket, and it's going to be much higher. Then they can dirty float it, and it can go as high as it wants.
Yeah, they need to. We talked about this a million times over the last freaking year, practically, and that is they need to unpeg themselves from the U.S. dollar. They need to. That's what Kuwait did. They unpegged themselves.
Yeah, if they don't unpeg themselves, y'all, you're looking at a 1-for-1. That's best case scenario. That's best. I don't care what anybody tells you.
I'm still not mad at that, but you know what I mean.
No, and I, you know what? I tell all my group, I tell my people, I say, you know what? Looking at it from a $3, $4, $6 plus is awesome, but worst case scenario, if it's $1, what are you going to do?
Cash in half and hold on to the other half.
Why? At $1, you're only going to go to $1.20. That's it. That's all you're going to get.
And let's say unpeg eventually.
But the odds of that happening, Pempe, are slim and zero. They don't do it.
I think the goal is for everybody to stop pegging themselves to the euro and to the dollar. Everybody needs to go. Now, of course, this is the whole kumbaya thing, but everybody needs to be in a free-flowing economy, and your value of your currency should be based on what you do business-wide with other countries. That's how it should be. A lot of these currencies are drastically undervalued because of being pegged to the dollar. Well, there's no need for that anymore.
And here's the thing, Pempe. I hate to say it like this. Currencies, just like central banks, are monopolies. The world runs on monopolies.
Oh, yeah.
So, we argued that last time. I'm not going to get into that this time. Now, somebody asked me, why do I think they're buying that currency, y'all? Because it's going to make them money. Yep. And this I know about sheiks. I know this about countries. I know this about large corporations. Whoever bought that currency and paid a premium for it, they're not looking to 2x their money or 3x their money or 4x their money. They're looking at 10 times their money, because if they sell something for $1 or pay their employees something, if they pay their employees $1,000, they have to make $100,000 in profit to justify paying an employee $10,000.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of unknown.
Okay, Pempe, hold on that question real quick.
Yeah.
Why does everyone want $25K exclusively? To me, money is money. Am I missing something?
Yeah, you are. There's a greater purpose to this, because 25K notes are going to be the rarest of the money. Kind of like in our economy where there's $10,000 notes, $1,000 notes, or whatever. It's the rarest of the rare.
I think you're right, but I think my opinion on, I think you're right about it being rare, but my opinion on it is this. Those large denominations after the rate change are going to be things that institutions look for. You know what I mean? So they can hold higher values with lesser notes. Now, for people like us, we, of course, want the value to it. But I think you're right about what you're saying as far as the rarity. But I think it's just easier for larger institutes to do business in higher denominations for larger transactions. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Hold on. We're going to take a call real quick. I'm low battery. God, dog. Hello, Steve.
Hey, Mr. Brando. How's it going?
Good, man. Hang on. I'm going to merge you with Pempe, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Hey, Steve.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man. Go ahead and ask your question, bro.
Okay, so so I'm a younger dude. I'm still like 27, and I actually got involved in this investment right when I got out of high school, which was back in like 2000. Chill. I'm sorry. I'm walking my dog right now. And, I wanted to know because so for example, I got USAA as my bank right now, and okay, so when you have the app, it says that you can only deposit $10,000 per day. So how do you feel like it would go through? Like say our come on, stop. It's an important call. But
hey, Steve.
I wonder how. Yeah.
So what you should do is call your bank up tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
And say, hey, look, I just won the lottery. I won it for $50 million. Do you want this money or not?
Okay.
and see what they say.
Now, for me, I went to my bank manager at Wells Fargo, locally here. And me and him went over everything that needs to be done. What he told me was, and this is how he explained the process goes. He said, what would happen is you would deposit whatever you got. You know what I mean? As long as it's not anything really ridiculous, within, X amount. He said, you just deposit it. You're going to get it all locked in at that rate. But you're not going to have access to all of it right away. You get some up front.
Right.
Some about 30, 60, or 90 days apart is what it is. And they do this to keep the economy from crashing on the other end. Now, keep in mind, people keep thinking that all this money is going to flood into Iraq, and Iraq's going to have to pay out all these dollars. That's not going to happen. A lot of this our own country is going to keep. They keep foreign currencies in their own reserves. They will pay out the U.S. dollars. That doesn't necessarily mean every dollar that's out there is going back to Iraq. But the point I'm trying to make is this. Right. Talk to your bank and just say, hey, look, I got $10 million in IQD. If it does, I'm just say I want to throw a hypothetical. If the rate changes to $3,
don't tell your bank that. If your bank doesn't deal in IQD, don't tell them you have any IQD at all. Don't ever do that. You just tell them this.
Well, you can just make up a hypothetical.
Pimpe, tell them this. I just won the lottery. I got $50 million. Do you want this money or no? If you don't want this money, I'll go to Bank of America. I'll go to Wells Fargo. I'll go to Citibank. Trust me, they will fight for your business. Okay?
No, but Mr. B, what he's saying is banks make sure. I want to make sure I'm right. You're saying your bank is saying foreign currencies, they limited your daily deposits, or are you saying just deposits? Period.
No. It's on my. I have my little app thing on my phone, and it says deposits daily is $9,999.
Who's your bank?
Oh, you need to go to a better bank.
Right, you need a bigger bank, bro. I'm not saying.
Okay.
I'm saying because listen, I know a little bank in Vancouver, Washington called Columbia Credit Union. I still have a bank account there. My mom told me the other day. I think I got like $50 in there. So I was sitting here the other day. I was sitting here alone in between calls. I called them. And I said, hey, if I won the lottery and wanted to deposit like $10 million, what would you do for me? Do you know this lady set me up with a bank branch person and wealth management? And they were like, this lady was tripping over herself trying to get, and I was like,
they'll take your money.
Yeah, she was like, no, if you deposit, can you do a wire transfer right now? I was like, whoa. She was
like, calm down, Sparky.
Yes. She was like, we need to.
I find it hard to believe that any bank, unless it's some shady bank. I mean, I'm not questioning your bank. I'm just saying that I don't care what currency it's in. If it's got value to it, I don't care if it's the pound sterling, if it's the IQD, if it's yuan, the American dollars. If you have something with weight, I find it hard to believe that they go, no, I know you want to put millions of dollars in my bank. How generous of you, but we'll only take $10,000. There's something. There must be a catch to it.
I think that's through your app. I think one of the subscribers made a good point. Kip made a good point because I think even with Chase, I can deposit checks through the app, but there's a cap that I can deposit through the app. So I think there's a difference when you go inside the bank versus using your mobile app.
Using your app,
Well, I would say there's got to be a cap probably on checks, I would guess. But a check ain't currency. You see what I'm saying?
So with the mobile apps now, you can literally take a picture of your check. You never have to leave your house.
I'm not that fancy.
Right, yeah.
So, but I'm just saying.
Well, you can also go to pimpydeposit.com and make a deposit with him, and he takes 25% off the top.
My Cash App, hold on. My Cash App's in the description to test this out. Somebody send me $10,000 and I'll tell you if it works.
Okay.
I'm trying to hook a brother up.
I'll tell you right now.
I just figured no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, bro. Okay. It's your time.
Oh no! I was just saying, I feel like I watch a couple of different things on YouTube. I try to gather my own information, and I always listen to you as well. And I just figure I'm more of I'm like a little bit younger than most of the people that know about this kind of thing.
Oh, and bro, you're ahead of the game too.
All the questions. Yeah,
I'll be 18 next year. Why? How old are you? No, I was kidding.
I just wanted to before the thing happens, I want to be ready before it happens, I want to be.
No, that's a smart move.
No, smart, bro. Listen, we're not making.
Smart.
Listen to me, man. I'll tell you this. If I would have had access to people that were older than me and had a broader sense of the world when I was younger that I could talk to and ask questions to, I probably wouldn't have made the mistakes I made in life, okay?
Yeah.
So, man, there's no dumb questions when it comes to making money or to securing your financial freedom for the rest of your life. So, man, you call in and say, look, this says this says this. We may say, like, silly stuff, but trust me, brother, you are doing the absolute right thing by calling in.
And we did say this on quite a few shows. We tell people, look, start preparing now. Start talking to your banks.
And I heard Mr. Brando always say, call in. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let me call in.
There you go.
Let me
you know, call in and ask silly question. Just like, what kind of bullets take out golden zombies? That I know. Okay? Just kidding.
All right, man. Look, guys, I got another call. I got to hang up. So let me answer this from Henderson.
One more thing. Yankees in 5. Yankees.
Yes.
Oh, bye. You're done. Bye. Bye. I told you, your team sucked anyway. Dodgers suck. Bye. I lost my caller.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Bye, guys. Well, guys, it's late. I'm going to hang out with Lee. Sorry, Lee. Goodbye.
All right, then.
All right, have a good
Bye.
one. I'm sorry I didn't get to Richmond, Virginia. I guess I'd call you back. He called twice. Let me not be a jerk.
Okay. I'll close the jail. Good night, y'all.
No. Calling him back. He called like 3 times, so. Daisy, you can wait.
Yeah, you knocking down lights. You stupid.
Hey, Virginia, if you see a 713 number, that's mine.
Oh, hey, Sammy D.
Hey, Sammy D.
What's going on with you?
I have to get this question real
You
quick.
banging our line? What's up?
Bang my line.
I'm banging it. I'm hitting the like button. I'm banging it.
Banging
Listen.
like you from Cali. What's up?
Right. After all these years, why now do you think that they're buying this IQD?
No, because they've been buying it for the last 3 years. I didn't tell everybody this. They've been buying it for like 3 years. Big amounts.
Gotcha.
It's not, it's, they've been buying it. It's no secret. It's been around. I mean, it's been rumored. Nathan showed me and proved it, but it's no secret. Like, it's not like, oh, wow, it's just started. No, it's been started.
Gotcha. Well, I'm going to let y'all go to sleep. That's all I need to know, and y'all have a good night.
You too, man. Have a good one, okay?
All right. See you later.
All right, good night, Sammy D.
Good night, y'all.
Good night, everybody.